let's go through the features of the reciprocator. Basically what you've got here is a really aggressive type of compression or limiting, for lack of a better way of explaining it. Here you've got your normal sort of attack and decay, but this functions a little bit differently than how an attack and decay would on a regular compressor. So in this case, instead of pushing the volume down like a compressor would or a limiter would, what we're actually doing is the volume is going to be untouched as long as the attack and decay are, as long as the attack is down to 0 and the decay comes in a little bit later, then it'll let the normal volume pass through. But as soon as this decay phase has ended, then it starts taking the signal and multiplying it by the reciprocal of the envelope follower. So what this effectively does is it turns whatever signal is left there to full volume, like max linear full tilt volume. And so this helps you control a little bit of like what the shape of the transients are that come through. You'll get an intuitive understanding of it once you start playing with it a little bit. And there's definitely other stuff that you can do to get kind of a more typical compressor sound out of it, but it's not really what this thing is for. Now, what it really is for kind of hearing those rounding errors in your signal as the volume comes down to the fluctuations in the signal start to oscillate right around that 0 point. So you get this like this kind of squaring off of the wave as they crush into 0, and that's what this degrade thing helps with as well. So this is a sort of like a bit reduction, but a lot more finessed. So you can choose between a lot more nuanced volumes than just like going down by 1 bit in the bit depth. Here we are actually controlling the rounding of the signal, and then you've got this tilt, so you can have a little bit more, a little bit less aggressive rounding on the left or the right side. And then we've got our saturator here. If you want this sort of like an analog clip saturation, for those nerdy among you, this would be the tan-H function. And then you've got a limiter in here, of course. This sort of helps to tame the volumes as they're coming through, because the volume fluctuations are pretty intense with the whole taking the reciprocal thing. And of course a DC offset filter. Another interesting feature on here is this pre-delay. So this will declare a certain amount of latency to Ableton, and it will delay the reciprocating so that you don't get these super aggressive peaks coming through. Because you can imagine, as this value gets smaller, then if we take the reciprocal of that, the value that we're multiplying it by gets closer and closer to infinity. So if that volume doesn't get adjusted back, if that multiplier doesn't get adjusted back down in time for the next transient to come through, then we're going to get a transient, which is already a high volume, getting multiplied by infinity. So it's going to be very loud. So that your pre-delay helps you with that. So it'll sense that transient coming in, adjust the volume accordingly, and then your transient will come in and won't get multiplied by such a high number. It'll probably just get multiplied by 1 or something, so it doesn't do anything. You've also got a toggle here for choosing between linear and logarithmic. That's for the envelope following. I usually just leave it on linear, to be honest, but I left that in as an option if you want to play around with that a little bit. So yeah, you can hear on the kick drum, just a kick drum on its own, with it on, with it off, not much change. Now if we pull down the decay a bit, you can hear we're getting this aggressive distortion. So this is partially because that envelope follower is going so fast that you actually don't have a chance. It doesn't have a chance to. You can see it here on the oscilloscope. So as that wave, it's like catching the peaks and valleys of that wave, and it's multiplying those by different numbers. So you end up with this kind of aggressive clipping sort of thing. If we turn that up a little bit, you see you can have the transient pass through without that problem. You can also see if we add a little bit of attack, now we're getting this super aggressive transient, right? And that's part of what I was talking about before with it's getting multiplied by a really high number, right? We're taking the reciprocal of 0 here, so infinity, and then we're multiplying the beginning of our transient by that, so you get these super harsh transients like that. You can also see there's some nice distortion bits that we can get from that. And you can really see like the wave itself. We're taking the reciprocal of these different fluctuations in the wave, so get some really strange sounds out of it. Now, if we were just to throw on a regular reverb or something here, let's do a shorter decay time. You can see now that this decay time helps us so that we can get the kick through at a reasonably normal volume, and then this just kicks in for the tail of the reverb. And we can even put the dry wet really low and get these kind of effects. You can hear that the faster we set our decay, the faster it's going to bring up the volume of this tail here. Right? And by adjusting the degrade amount, we can get more or less of that sort of rounding error sound. Yeah, so that's like a reverb, for example. But any time-based effect is going to really give you some interesting sort of sounds here. Let's try a delay, maybe with a short time. You can do the decay quite low again. Let's try on fade. Yeah, so we can get all sorts of great sounds like this. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice one. Corpus can also be really interesting. Let's try it on beam, on eco, or whatever. Lots of fun sounds here. It's a bit aggressive in my opinion. Yeah, lots of cool stuff going on there. Maybe the plate will be interesting. That's nice. Yeah, very cool. So you can see any time-based effect is going to give you some nice results, and I encourage you to try a bunch of them and see what things actually have some sort of delay in them that you can get something out of. That's kind of fun. Or we could try it. Yeah. So have a play around with that. Let me know what you think, and yeah, enjoy this great effect. Have fun with it. All right, take care.